Pierre Lamont Sire d'Iberville, or as we call him locally, Pierre Lamont d'Iberville. The name d'Iberville is no stranger to people from around Mobile or throughout the Gulf Coast. Pierre, a French soldier, explorer, colonial administrator, and trader, was renowned for founding the colony of Louisiana in New France and establishing its capital in Mobile. His brother, Jean-Baptiste Lemoyne Bienville, founded New Orleans and is the namesake of Mobile's Bienville Square. On Tuesday, August 30th, members of the Mobile media were invited to visit the Admiral Hotel in downtown Mobile to experience the pearl of the newly renovated Admiral Hotel in downtown Mobile. Its star attraction, Le Mont's Chophouse. Old Pierre was a foppish fellow, to say the least, and he was quite fond of himself. All throughout the hotel are paintings in the style that Pierre used to commission himself, like replicas of famous paintings with his face superimposed over like the face of Apollo. Well, this era when Pierre was going about is the Baroque period, which is very ornate, and the hotel and the restaurant both reflect that. I guess the best word to describe it is opulent. To kick off dinner, they started us out with a mocktail that was made with grapefruit juice and seltzer, fresh grated ginger, some simple syrup, and a few other things. It was really refreshing. It really hit the spot. And then came the amuse. It was a lobster-infused grit cake with chunks of lobster mixed in and some are very refreshing. It was served slightly chilled, just delicious. Then the first course came out, and that was the oysters Louise. These were made with the locally sourced Admiral oysters, which are boutique oysters raised right here in Mobile Bay, which is one of the things that Mobile is famous for, is the boutique oysters. They were charbroiled in Wagyu beef fat, fennel, and Pernod pearl. Pernod is the anise or licorice flavored liqueur. They turn it into pearls using a technique from molecular gastronomy called spherification. I could go into it, but it would probably bore you. In essence, what it was it turned this booze into a juicy squirt. They topped it with a little herbed panko breadcrumbs and some Kaluga caviar, and they paired it with a, I'll try this, Roederer Estate Brut Rosé from the Anderson Valley in California. The next course was probably the best overall dish. Most people raved about it. It was seared scallops over crawfish risotto with a shellfish reduction, chive oil, garden herbs. They paired that with Hartford Court Chardonnay from the Russian River Valley in Sonoma, California. The crawfish risotto, it's got that brilliant yellow color that we determined came from saffron. The crawfish I would have never thought crawfish in risotto. It was phenomenal. This dish was absolutely bonkers. Then we move on to the first of two steak courses. The first was just a teaser. It was called Hot Rocks, and I'll let the chef tell you about it.
Japanese A5 Wagyu beef. It is the highest rated, finest beef in the world. And we're going to cook it in a very traditional Japanese style, which is on a hot volcanic stone.
With the certificate?
They paired that with a Chateau La Sague from Saint-Emilion, Bordeaux, France. And it was a really good pairing. The Wagyu cooked rare. Just a little bit of coarse sea salt on top, and just the most tender bite of steak you have ever put in your mouth. Then the next course was more steak. Mason Hill's Farm Tomahawk, a 40-ounce USDA prime bone-in ribeye with sauce bordelaise.
So this is our 40-ounce tomahawk ribeye for two. Very proudly, we are serving beef. This item particularly is a prime ribeye from our friends at Mason Hills Farm. They are right over in Grand Bay, Alabama, and they raise some very, very fine animals that we are very happy to serve on our menus. We will do these tonight.
They gave us a sample of the various sides that you can get with their dishes. Creamed spinach, delicious. Grilled asparagus, fantastic. Homemade puree, which is French for mashed potatoes, and a Conecuh mac and cheese. They paired that with Alexander Valley Vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon, also from Alexander Valley in Sonoma, California. The dessert course started out with a creamy espresso martini, and then the actual dessert was an in-house made dark double chocolate candy bar that had a graham cracker and pistachio crust, a side of brandy cherries, candied mint leaf, and the entire chocolate bar was covered in gold leaf, actual edible gold. I handled all of that French pretty well, didn't I? Never had one lesson. If there is one phrase that sums up the entire experience, both with the Admiral and with Le Mans Chophouse, it would have to be attention to detail. I mean, everything down to the finest micro was done purposefully. It was a truly fantastic experience. Mike and I both have been blessed over the course of our careers to have meals that could only be described as eating like royalty. This was one of those meals. This was an absolutely impeccable meal of a lifetime type meal. I highly recommend this place for anniversary or retirement dinner. If you want to pop the question, Valentine's Day, you hit the lottery. Just a great experience. I mean, come on, y'all. The label on the wine bottle lights up. At the end of the evening, each member of the media was gifted a box. Inside held a jar of honey from the apiary on the roof of the Admiral Hotel, a cleaver engraved with Moyne's logo on it, and a coin from the Admiral. In certain cultures, it's a common practice to include a coin when gifting a knife. The tradition stems from the belief that knives can signify severed relationships or the cutting of ties between individuals. Additionally, some people think that giving a knife as a gift can result in the giver losing power, or that the knife's blade can sever the bond between the giver and the recipient. The coin, a solid metal object, helps ward off the bad luck traditionally associated with giving a knife as a gift.